Wall Street. We picture luxury, power, polished marble floors and endless towers of glass. But what if I told you its true foundation wasn't built on ambition, but on sheer, absolute terror? The story begins not in a boardroom, but in a street fight for America's very survival. This isn't just history. It's a ghost story about money, madness, and the moment a brand new nation stared into the abyss. The year is 1792. America is a fragile idea just a few years old. The ink on the Constitution is barely dry. There's no New York Stock Exchange. No digital tickers. Just a handful of men huddled under a buttonwood tree on a muddy lane called Wall Street. They trade face to face, their word is their bond, and the entire financial system rests on a delicate web of trust. A system that was about to be pushed to its breaking point. Secretary of the Treasury, Alexander Hamilton, had a radical vision. A national bank, a federal credit system. He was trying to build a financial fortress. But a few greedy men found a crack in the wall. Meet William Dewar, a friend of Hamilton's, a man with an insatiable appetite for risk. He and a secret circle of speculators saw an opportunity. They started buying up new government bonds and shares in the First Bank of the United States. Their goal? To corner the market, to control the price and sell high. But there was a problem. They didn't have the cash. So they bought on credit. They made promises. They took out massive loans from friends, from banks, from anyone who would lend. They were essentially gambling with borrowed money, creating a mountain of debt built on nothing but the hope that prices would only go up. It was a classic bubble, inflating with every whisper of easy profit. And Dewar was at the very center, a spider spinning a web of financial deceit. Then, the music stopped. On March 9, 1792, William Dewar defaulted on his loans. He couldn't pay. The first domino had fallen, and the sound echoed across the city. Suddenly, everyone who had lent him money was in trouble. Everyone who had bought into the frenzy started to panic. The whispers of easy fortunes turned into screams of devastating loss. People rushed to the street, desperate to sell their stocks, their bonds, anything. But there were no buyers. Prices didn't just fall, they evaporated. The market froze solid. Confidence, the very bedrock of the entire system, shattered in an instant. Men who were millionaires one day were bankrupt the next. The dream of prosperity had become a citywide nightmare. With the nation's financial heart flatlining, one man stepped in. Alexander Hamilton. This was his system, his creation. And he would not let it die. He saw this wasn't just about money. It was about the survival of the United States. If the nation's credit failed, the country could fail with it. Acting with unprecedented authority, Hamilton made a bold move. He authorized the Treasury to step in and buy government securities on the open market. He was injecting cash directly into the system, becoming a lender of last resort. He coordinated with the Bank of New York, instructing them to continue lending at reasonable rates, to keep credit flowing, to stop the bleeding. It was an emergency financial rescue, the first of its kind in American history. Hamilton wasn't just saving the market. He was saving the idea of America itself. What really happened in 1792? It wasn't just an economic event, it was a psychological one. Panic is a virus. It spreads through fear, not logic. It turns rational people into a stampeding herd. The speculators, the bankers, the everyday merchants, they all got infected. They saw their neighbors selling, and they sold too, not because the underlying value had changed, but because they were terrified of being the last one holding the bag. It proves that markets aren't just numbers on a screen. They are built on a story we tell ourselves. A story of belief. When that belief falters, the entire structure can collapse into dust. The Panic of 1792 was the first time America learned this brutal, terrifying lesson. 230 years later, the ghost of 1792 still haunts us. Every market bubble, from dot-com stocks to crypto crazes, follows the same script. Hope turns to greed. Greed turns to leverage, and leverage leads to panic. We think technology makes us smarter, but human nature never changes. The line between confidence and delusion is razor thin. The Panic of 1792 is more than a historical footnote. It's a permanent warning. A reminder that our entire financial world is balanced on the knife's edge of trust and fear. And it only takes one person, one default, one moment of doubt to send it all tumbling down. Thanks for watching. If you found this journey into America's financial past compelling, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss our next deep dive. See you in the next video.